here. Jeff Slakey taking a couple days off. Kaiser's first day of kindergarten today, and tomorrow is first day on the school bus. I remember I was terrified in kindergarten on the school bus the first day. Actually, I kind of liked it, but I was 30 years old at the time. Anyway, I was a late bloomer, so people don't believe that story, but it's true. I'm way behind, scholastically speaking, but luckily that doesn't matter on the radio. They'll put any dummy on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. It's the Sheriff Sitdown right now. Sheriff Casey Salisbury joining us in studio with Chief Deputy Ryan Spurling. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
What's going on today? Is it? I haven't been out there since I came in around 4 something. It wasn't raining then. Is it pretty wet out there right now?
A little bit. It was coming down a little bit on the way in on the outside of town.
Yeah. And you, of course, want to see people be careful out there. I know we haven't had too much rain at all, and we really got hit on Saturday with that thunder and lightning.
Yes. Yeah, the roads can get really slick. It brings that oil and water on the surface. And be aware of that freestanding water. It'll really throw your vehicle sideways, or you'll lose complete control of it as it hydroplanes.
They tweeted, the police from Kent tweeted some pictures where it looked like a lake, and they were saying, please, if we have the street closed off, we did it for a reason, and there's cars trying to go through anyway. And they were, it looked like they were halfway underwater in some areas that were flooded out streets.
Yeah, cars don't go very well underwater.
So, yeah. So what is going on? Looks like you had an academy graduation, 2 recruits graduating?
Yeah, last week. I've been talking this up for quite a while, and I'm very proud of these recruits that we've had coming into Mason County, and probably most proud of them because it was commented on quite some time ago by the academy commander that the recruits in Mason County are finishing a top group every time at the academy, like no other agency, and that's really something. I think to myself, if you take every single person in your profession in the state of Washington and you compete with them, and you come out in the top 3 in your profession in the entire state, you're doing pretty well. So we had, I think they sound like a law firm, Symington and Phillips. We had Josh Phillips and Sean Symington.
Is that the new Fast and the Furious movie?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, a law firm.
I hope not. They better drive reasonably.
Just complete the 787th Criminal Justice Training Commission class. I didn't look too close for who's counting. It's 537 classes behind mine. So it's been that long ago since I was there.
Wow.
So anyway, very proud of them. We had Josh Phillips was selected by his peer group at the academy to be the vice president of the class while he was up there. And Sean Symington was selected as a squad leader. And also, Sean finished in the skills piece with a 95.7%.
Wow.
That was third. Can you imagine if you're finishing at anything at the top group like that, competing like that, to a 95.7 and finishing awesome. The top third. So,
and that included all of his practical exercises, from driving to shooting to defensive tactics to skills tests.
I'm telling you, you get up in those numbers, that's tough company to keep. So very proud of them. I'll have the chief talk about. We've got a couple more people headed that way, and our school resource.
Yeah, we've got a total of 7 deputies in training, with 1 that we're finishing up the background and hoping to hire soon. And then all of our positions are completely full that we have left from the cuts. But with 7 people, we only have 32 people on patrol. And with 7 of them in training, that makes it a little bit short on every crew right now. So it's kind of tough, but our guys are doing the best they can. They're excited to get people out. Nice to have 2 people come out of the academy, but now they have to go through a 3-month field training officer program. So they sit with another deputy, so there'll be a 2-person car, and they evaluate and coach them through the process of actually taking their academic learning in the academy and put it in practical sense out on the streets. We've got 2 more. 1 just started the academy last week. 1 starts the academy here in 2 weeks, and it's exciting to get those guys, and we have 2 on their FTO field training officer program right now. So out of the total of 7, they ought to all be on the streets ready to roll. And if we don't have any more people retire, we should be back to our new full strength as of the 2018 cuts in May or June.
Wow. So how does that look like over the last several years, would you say, like the level of recruits versus retirement and stuff? And what are the main ways to get the word out there when you're looking to get these recruits into the academy and stuff for filling positions?
The challenging part for us is, as Ryan was just saying, how long it takes. It's about 1.5 years from the time you start with somebody before you get them on the road. And remember, you're paying them that time as you bring them in. Those cuts, we're still 15 people less than we had before. but we're back to after those cuts, we had lost a number of people to retirement. And so it seems like in our profession that kind of a group of people comes in about this time as these guys are all coming in, and 25, 30 years from now, these guys are all going to retire, and there's going to be another section just like that. And it's kind of cyclical, and it's very challenging when you lose a whole bunch at the same time. But we're really thrilled for that. I was going to mention one other thing. Not only does it take a bunch of time, and I mean, this is a good thing, but it makes you feel good and makes you feel bad at the same time. The last couple of times I've been to the academy and that our candidates are finishing in the top of the class, very good friend of mine, it's a chief of a very large agency that pays a lot of money, turning around and handing me business cards and says, here, he says, why don't you give them to them? He says, we'll pay double, I'll hire them today. And that's the challenge that we have, is we are putting out the very best recruits right now, are among the very best recruits in the state, have been coming to Mason County, and we want to keep them is the main thing when you're looking at how great they are and what job they're doing. But we're thrilled to have them and what they add to our agency.
Well, clearly there was no radio academy I had to go through and pass to get here, so I'm just kidding. But that's really incredible, those scores. I mean, that kudos to them. And there's a new school resource officer, right, at Pioneer and Hood Canal?
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about that one.
We negotiated a contract where Pioneer and Hood Canal partnered together to get a school resource officer that they could share 60-40 between those two schools. And we have Deputy Castillo that started doing that just a week or so ago, and he was really excited. He was a school resource officer years ago, and he came back into that, and we've been in touch with the schools. They've been pleased. And it's really good to get one of our deputies in those schools, in contact with the kids, playing basketball, building relationships, being there for safety. And it's an important thing to our community, especially with all of the school shootings that we've had in the last few years. It's very important that we have that officer in the schools.
That's fantastic. We have a son at North Mason, and I was there the other day dropping off some lunch money for him, and there was a sheriff's deputy that had just parked there and gone inside. What does a typical day look like for the resource officers that kind of go through? It looked like he was kind of starting to walk through the hallways and stuff. They have a great camera system there at that school. I don't know how it compares to other schools in the area.
Fantastic system. Probably
is that one of the state of the art? I've never seen anything like it.
I could actually, well, I won't do it for you, but I can show you here. I can sit here and watch those cameras on my phone. So it's very nice that law enforcement.
If there was an emergency, we would be able to see what we're going into.
That's incredible. How many schools would you say have that level of technology, like percentage-wise? Not very many.
I'm not sure about outside the area. It's they're pretty new up there, and their technology is very good. A lot of schools have added cameras, but as far as up to date, it looks like Mission Control when you look at all the cameras up there, and that you can see. Does. Yeah. Oh, it's phenomenal how they've set that up. Beautiful school. And
what does a typical day look like for a school resource officer when they're on cameras?
I did it for a long time, but it's been a long time ago.
Yeah,
and when you start the day like anything else, you're up at the school there. You're generally up there before school starts. They may visit a bus stop or two in the area. A teacher may have them in different classrooms, may have you in there as you're wandering through. If there's issues that come up in the building, they deal with those on and off campus. It's really, I thought it was kind of interesting because we had a team at the agency that I worked that worked public schools, and the number of problems that we had when we started into those schools dropped off significantly. I mean, hugely, to the point where they decided, well, maybe they don't need people in schools anymore. And they started moving people moved us out of the schools. And the road deputies started complaining like crazy that their call volume was doubling because there's so many things that are prevented or stopped before they become a problem when you have deputies in the school. The other thing that I think is a misnomer that's out there in the years that I did it, and Ryan and I have been on the campus, is when people say, well, it gets used to the police and so they're not disturbed when you're around. I would tell you, we've been out to the schools, and you walk in, we've been down at Pioneer, you walk in, and you better have game if you're in Foursquare or something, because the kids, they aren't scared of the police.
Yeah.
We walk on the campus, and they can't wait when they see you coming.
Sure.
And if you're not great at tetherball or Foursquare or something, you better get it together before you get out there. It can be dangerous, So we're really thrilled to have both those deputies out there. and I know the schools are thrilled to have them.
It's embarrassing when a fourth grader
Yeah.
shames you.
Tough.
Imagine if it was dodgeball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thanks a lot. It was great to see both of you, Sheriff Casey Salisbury and Chief Deputy Ryan Spurling, joining us for the Sheriff Sit-Down. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so
Spencer.
much.
I appreciate it very much. I'm Spencer Hughes. It is Daybreak.